This is World News Program coming to you live from Algiers with me, Mariam Zian. To the headlines. The Israeli occupation has imposed a full siege on Tubas in the West Bank, with Hamas denouncing it as a part of annexation and displacement plans, while President Tebboune reaffirms Algeria's steadfast support for Palestinian statehood and Al-Quds as its capital. Also coming up next, Algeria and Egypt reaffirmed strong relations at the High Joint Committee in Cairo, signing 18 agreements and memoranda of understanding across several sectors. The two sides highlighted Algeria's emergence as a strong economy under President Tebboune's investment reforms. And a group of military officers in Guinea-Bissau has seized full control of the country, arrested the president and suspended the election process on the eve of the results. Hello and welcome back to the details of your nightly news. First, Israeli occupation forces launched a large-scale military operation at dawn on Wednesday in the governorate of Tubas in the northern occupied West Bank. The operation targeted the city and several neighboring towns amid heavy reinforcements and helicopter strikes. Local Palestinian sources reported that the occupation forces expelled residents and effectively turned the city into a military barracks. Armed bulldozers were deployed and all entrances to the Tubas governorate were sealed off with dirt mounds and checkpoints, imposing a full siege and a strict curfew that brought all movement to a halt. And the governor of Tubas and Al-Aghwar al-Shamaliya in the occupied West Bank, Ahmed Assad, revealed that the Israeli occupation used Apache helicopters for the first time in years in its assault on the city, firing toward residential areas. Assad stated on Wednesday that the occupation is targeting the governorate because of its strategic location, in an attempt to impose a fait accompli. He added that the movement across the area has come to a standstill, putting the lives of Palestinians, especially the elderly, the sick and children, at risk.
The army controlled all the geographic areas in Tubas, especially in the Tamoon. They evacuated dozens of houses and attacked the residents. They put up military barracks in the higher buildings in Tubas and Tamoon. The military operation is still continuing.
The mayor of Tamoon in Tubas, Samir Bashrat, said that the Israeli occupation is besieging the entire area from all directions, preventing any movements in its streets. He revealed in media statements that the occupation has turned more than 10 homes in several neighborhoods into military barracks after expelling their residents. He added that occupation forces have bulldozed a number of the town's roads and cut water lines. The mayor appealed to human rights organizations and diplomatic missions to intervene to lift the siege on the town.
The water has receded, preventing farmers from accessing their land. Some houses have been converted into military outposts. There have been numerous arrests in the town, and a curfew is in place, prohibiting all movement. Many residents are appealing for help regarding humanitarian cases, particularly the sick, those with chronic diseases such as diabetes and hypertension, and those in labor. It is difficult for ambulances to reach them. Therefore, we urge everyone and all the institutions to intervene urgently so that people can shop for necessities for their homes. We were not informed beforehand, nor were we aware of the invasion. We were informed by the liaison that this invasion could last for several days.
The Islamic resistance movement Hamas, as you followed in our top stories, said the Israeli occupation's new military operation in the northwestern bank, marked by a siege, curfew, raids and arrests, demonstrates the systematic crimes of the extremist occupation government. In its Wednesday statement, Hamas described the operation as part of ongoing plans for annexation and displacement aimed at turning West Bank towns and villages into besieged, fragmented areas. The movement called for maximum national unity in confronting an open war on the West Bank.
The announcement by the criminal Zionist occupation army of a new military operation in the northern West Bank, accompanied by a siege, curfews, raids, searches, and arrests reveals the extent of the systematic crimes perpetrated by the extremist occupation government. This is part of the declared policy aimed at crushing any Palestinian presence and achieving complete control over the West Bank. This operation is part of the ongoing annexation and displacement plans through which the occupation seeks to transform West Bank cities and villages into besieged and fragmented enclaves.
And in the face of this new Israeli escalation in northern occupied West Bank, the occupation continues to commit systematic crimes against the Palestinian people, especially in the governorate of Tubas, through sieges, arrests and raids as part of a clear policy aimed at displacing Palestinians and seizing their land. More with Usama Ayed.
From Gaza to the West Bank, the aggression is the same, and the goal is the displacement of Palestinians by force. The Zionist entity launched a new wave of assault on the northern West Bank on Wednesday. The aggression raged against the region, targeted the villages and towns, specifically in an area the occupation calls as the quintessential. The operations that were backed by helicopters and opened fire in the city were besieging Tubas and establishing positions in several neighborhoods.
The military operation started early in the morning, and the goal, according to what we have known, is political and not military, regarding the huge deployment of forces in addition to Apache helicopters, and as you can hear, reconnaissance aircrafts, and security checkpoints were deployed to divide the province and control public buildings.
The Zionist leadership did not comment on the operation. However, analysts consider this aggression as part of the ongoing annexation and displacement plans. Through this plan, the occupation seeks to transform the cities and villages of the occupied West Bank into besieged and fragmented enclaves, preventing any semblance of normal life in order to recreate a reality that serves the Zionist project pursued by the occupation.
All what you have seen indicates that the entity is dedicating the policy of annexation and the escape from reality. The Israeli leadership escapes forwards from what is happening as conflicts within the Israeli army and also the Israeli elections, and the Palestinian people are paying the price of these conflicts.
These operations constitute a new attempt to empty the West Bank of its inhabitants, paving the way for settlers to seize even larger areas of Palestinian lands.
Still in the Palestinian file, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, speaking at the special meeting for the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, affirmed that Palestinians have the right to dignity, justice and self-determination like all peoples. He emphasized that statehood is a Palestinian right and called for an end to the illegal occupation of their territory, stressing that the UN remains steadfast in its commitment to their right to self-determination. And new United Nations reports warns that recovery in Gaza from the genocidal war could take decades, with the reconstruction requiring over $70 billion. UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Palestine, Francesca Albanese, wrote on X that the report found the Israeli war erased 69 years of human development, destroying healthcare, education infrastructure, and banks. The ceremony commemorating the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people was held on Wednesday here in Algiers with the participation of the Minister of War, Veterans and Rights Holders, Mr. Abdelmalek Tashrift. The message read on behalf of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. Tashrift reiterated Algeria's unwavering support and principled solidarity with the struggle of the Palestinian people until they recover their full rights, including the establishment of a Palestinian state with Al-Quds as its capital.
تجدد الجزائر دعمها المطلق.
Algeria reiterates its absolute support and unwavering principled solidarity with the struggle of the Palestinian people until they recover all their inalienable rights, foremost among them their right to self-determination and the establishment of an independent state with full sovereignty on the borders of June 4, 1967, with Al-Quds as its capital.
And in different news now, Algeria's Prime Minister Sifi Ghrieb said the joint committee with Egypt meets at a critical moment for the Arab region following the devastation in Gaza. In a joint press conference in Cairo, he noted that crises across the Arab world, especially in Libya, Sudan, Yemen, and Lebanon, continue to threaten regional stability and security.
I sensed yesterday, during the meeting I had with His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the strong determination he has to continue working with his brother, President Abdelmajid Tebboune, in order to strengthen cooperation relations and to intensify coordination and consultation, especially given the circumstances our Arab world is going through. In this context, it is clear that deepening relations between Algeria and Egypt is not merely a routine management of relations between two countries connected by history, geography, and culture, but also a strategic response to the major challenges facing our region.
The Algerian Prime Minister stressed that the situation underscores the need for closer coordination with Cairo based on shared principles of non-interference, political solutions, and respect for international law.
Strengthening coordination and consultation between our two countries on various current issues is a priority for contributing to the restoration of peace and security in a region experiencing an unprecedented wave of turmoil that requires reviving Arab solidarity and unifying ranks. From this perspective, the developments unfolding in the region were reviewed, with emphasis laid on the shared visions of both countries regarding many issues of common interest.
Prime Minister Sifi Ghrieb said Wednesday that Algeria and Egypt have made significant strides in building strong exemplary relations that are a source of pride, that pushed the two sides to raise their ambitions for greater cooperation and partnership. Ghrieb noted that some Egyptian companies export their products abroad from Algerian territory, revealing that several Egyptian firms are already exporting from Algeria, making Egypt one of Algeria's largest economic partners in trade and investment.
The economic reforms initiated by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, have made it possible to provide all the necessary facilities and incentives to create a favorable environment for attracting and decreasing the flow of direct investments. These measures will help achieve our common ambition of building exemplary and robust relations that bring benefit and prosperity to our two brotherly peoples.
Prime Minister Ghrieb stated that the energy sector in all its branches constitutes a key pillar of bilateral cooperation. In the joint press conference, he reaffirmed the importance of enhancing consultation and coordination in order to maximize the use of both countries' energy capacities and defending their interests in light of global developments that have made energy one of the central strategic challenges shaping international relations.
In light of the significant opportunities offered by the exceptional momentum in the economies of both countries, as trade between them is experiencing steady growth and investment and partnership projects are recording an increase that brings pride and satisfaction. These initiatives include many promising sectors such as energy, petrochemicals, electrical and general industries, as well as construction, public works, services, and agriculture.
He stressed the importance of establishing a roadmap with a clear timeline to implement the outcomes of the Joint Committee to ensure follow-up across all sectors in order to meet the aspirations of both countries for deeper integration, growth, and partnership. Let's take a listen.
Therefore, I reiterate my satisfaction with the outcomes of this session, which will constitute an additional milestone on the path of building fruitful and diversified partnerships between our two brotherly countries. I also reaffirm the importance of implementing these outcomes in all their dimensions, in line with the aspirations of our two brotherly countries for more integration, growth, and partnership.
And for his part, Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli affirmed that many investment opportunities in both countries have not been utilized to their full potential, and that if Algeria and Egypt harness them properly, they can achieve major partnerships that extend to markets across the region. In the joint press conference in Cairo on Wednesday, Madbouli said that setting a number of priorities is essential for elevating the level of bilateral partnership.
ورغم ما تحقق من خطوات إيجابية.
Despite the positive steps taken in recent years, the volume of trade and investment between Egypt and Algeria remains below the considerable potential available to us. We have untapped opportunities that are being fully utilized. If these opportunities are properly harnessed, we'll be able to move towards major economic partnerships that extend to the markets of the region and the African and European continents as well. To transform this vision into tangible reality, we have set a number of shared priorities, most notably strengthening cooperation in value-added sectors, particularly energy, infrastructure, construction, water, desalination, sanitation, agriculture, roads, and transportation, where Egyptian companies operating in Algeria have proven their ability to implement major projects that represent a water boom for our brotherly nation in Algeria.
Minister Medbouli underscored that enhancing economic partnership does not rely solely on government-to-government cooperation, but also depends on the role of the private sector in both countries, which is capable of turning opportunities into investments. Let's take a listen.
إن تعزيز علاقتنا الاقتصادية.
Strengthening our economic relations depends not only on governmental cooperation, but is fundamentally based on the role of the private sector and its ability to transform opportunities into tangible investments. Therefore, we believe that the success of this forum hinges the effectiveness of the direct meetings between Egyptian and Algerian companies that will take place. The success is also linked to the new projects and partnerships that will result, particularly given the positive transformations in the investment environment in both countries, as well as the political will and institutional support. These factors make the current moment perfectly opportune for expanding cooperation and opening new avenues for joint ventures.
So the two sides agreed during the preliminary meetings to sign 18 agreements and memoranda of understanding covering several sectors. These agreements span the fields of agriculture, housing, energy, financial dialogue, local development, exhibitions, consumer protection, culture, the Opera House, Al-Azhar University, labor, social solidarity, sports, and the youth. They also agreed to strengthen cooperation in health, pharmaceuticals, telecommunications, education, tourism, and other areas. In the same context, Algeria's Prime Minister Sifi Ghraib outlined on Wednesday in Cairo the set of institutional and legal reforms launched by Algeria to create the conditions needed for a qualitative economic leap. He called on Egyptian investors to seize the opportunity and invest in Algeria. In his speech at the Algeria-Egypt Business Forum held on the sidelines of the High Joint Committee between the two countries, Ghraib recalled the provisions of the investment law adopted in 2022, which he described as a suitable framework for attracting more investment through an integrated system that guarantees freedom of investment and ensures equality between all investors, whether local or foreign.
أود الإشارة إلى جملة الإصلاحات المؤسساتية والقانونية.
I would like to highlight the set of institutional and legal reforms launched by the Algerian public authorities under the leadership of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune. This process is still ongoing, with the aim of preparing all the necessary conditions to ensure a qualitative leap for the national economy by increasing the value of non-hydrocarbon exports, diversifying production, and improving its quality in line with global quality standards. The Algerian investment law, adopted in 2022, truly represents a suitable platform for attracting more investments through an integrated system that ensures freedom of investment and guarantees equality among all investors, be they national or foreign.
And Kamal Moula, president of the Algerian Council for Economic Renewal, said the Algeria-Egypt Business Forum reflects a shared commitment to strengthening diplomatic and economic cooperation. He highlighted that reforms launched by President Tebboune in consultation with business leaders have significantly improved Algeria's business climate.
إن الحضور الجزائري اليوم في القاهرة.
Algeria's presence today in Cairo reflects our determination to focus on strengthening diplomatic and economic cooperation alike in the interest of our peoples. It is only natural that the Algerian Economic Renewal Council and its companies are part of Algeria's delegation to the Business Council and the Economic Forum, thanks to the reforms launched by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, in consultation with business leaders. The investment climate in Algeria is witnessing a remarkable improvement.
And the Algerian Minister of Industry, Yahya Bashir, said the country has entered a new phase focused on building a strong, diversified economy. Speaking at the Algeria-Egypt Business Forum in Cairo, he noted that President Abdelmajid Tebboune reforms, especially the investment law, have transformed the business environment by ensuring investment freedom, removing constraints, stabilizing the legal framework, and guaranteeing foreign investors the right to transfer profits and capital.
لقد دخلت الجزائر مرحلة اقتصادية جديدة.
Algeria has entered a new economic phase under the leadership of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune. This phase is defined by the foundation of a strong, diversified economy that is open to investment, backed by profound reform that have encompassed the legal, institutional, and governmental framework. At the heart of these reforms is Law 2218 on investment, which marked a turning point in improving the business climate by first consolidating the principle of freedom of investment and initiative and removing previous bureaucratic restrictions. Second, ensuring the stability of the legal framework, which provide investors with clear and secure legislative visibility. Third, guaranteeing the freedom for foreign investors to transfer profits and capital.
And the ninth session of the Algerian-Egyptian High Joint Committee for Cooperation concluded Wednesday in Cairo, chaired by Algeria's Prime Minister Sifir Ghayab and Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Medbouri. During the session, the two leaders supervised the signing of 18 agreements, memoranda of understanding and cooperation programs. Ghayab expressed satisfaction with the outcomes, emphasizing that the partnership now provides a strong framework for deeper integration and mutual benefit. Moving on now to a different development, the A3+ group called on the UN Security Council to hold accountable all violators of the arms embargo undermining Libya's stability. Algeria's deputy permanent representative to the UN, Tawfiq Al-Aid Koudri, speaking for the group, which includes Algeria, Somalia, Sierra Leone, and Guyana, said that voting in favor of the 6-month mandate renewal reaffirms their commitment to strictly enforcing the arms embargo.
The A3+ voted in favor of this resolution, just adopted, through which the Council authorizes a 6-month technical rollover of the provisions set out in the Resolution 2780 as demonstration of our commitment to the strict implementation of the arms embargo in Libya. We take note of the recent report of the Secretary General on the activities of Operation Irini, which included more than 2,000 boardings and inspections. However, we regret that despite the high number of reported interceptions, the operation has not yielded the desired results to implement the arms embargo.
The A3+ group also urged the European Union, through the leadership of the Operation Irini, to strengthen its cooperation with the Libyan government. More details in this clip.
The persistent challenge underscores the need for a comprehensive review of the modus operandi of the mission and the enhancement of its technical capabilities to prevent illicit arms transfers. The A3+ urges the European Union to strengthen, through the Irini Command, its cooperation with the Libyan government, particularly in the areas of intelligence sharing, capacity building, and coordination of the most effective means to enforce the embargo. The A3+ reaffirms its unwavering commitment to Libya's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national unity. We reiterate our call for the full and unconditional withdrawal of all foreign forces, foreign fighters, and mercenaries. We also renew our support for Libyan-led and Libyan-owned political process facilitated by the United Nations, which paves the way for a sustainable solution and restores hope to millions of Libyans.
The Algerian Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Transport, Saad Sayoud, in a speech delivered on his behalf, said successful initiatives such as the Algerian-Chinese Partnership in Governance can serve as a model for Arab and international cooperation. He made the remarks at the opening of the Second International Forum on High-Performance Governance and Public Service Modernization, organized with the China National Academy of Governance and attended by experts from the two countries. And Chen Shuquan, the head of the delegation from the China National Academy of Governance, affirmed that Algeria is regarded as a gateway to Africa and a key frontline for implementing the Belt and Road Initiative in the continent. Let's take a listen.
We believe that such meetings constitute an ideal platform for exchanging expertise, enhancing complementary and developing a shared vision on issues of governance, digital transformation and public administration reform. We also believe that successful experiences, including the Algerian-Chinese experience, can serve as an Arab international cooperative model from which everyone can benefit.
Algeria is a shining pearl of the African continent, and the Algerian capital is a historic city that combines thousands of years of heritage with the vibrancy of the modern era. Algeria is the gateway to Africa and the front line for implementing the Belt and Road Initiative in the continent. During the 15th five-year plan period, there are broad prospects for cooperation between the two sides in areas such as national governance, training of government officials, and scientific research projects.
The group of military officers in Guinea-Bissau claimed to have taken full control of the country, arresting the outgoing president and suspending the presidential process on the eve of the announcement of the presidential and legislative election results. In a statement broadcast on national television, the officers said they had ousted President Umaro Sissoko Embalo and imposed a curfew. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu announced the release of all schoolgirls who were kidnapped last week from a school in the city of Kebbi in the country's northwest by armed men. In a post on X on Tuesday, the Nigerian president said he was relieved that all 24 schoolgirls had been freed from the gunmen. He stressed the urgent need to deploy more security forces to vulnerable areas to prevent further kidnappings, along with proving all necessary support to achieve this. Ladies and gentlemen, our program has come to an end. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.